What's up, everybody? This is your daily wrap-up of SFL action. Saturday in the books. I'm Cameron Irvine. He's Mike St. Green. I just have to catch my breath here, Mike. That was a wild day of action.
Yeah, Cam, where do we start? I mean, from start to finish, we had a lot of action today, a lot of explosive plays, a lot of close games, and none more amazing than one that just finished up a little while ago with Arizona and Charleston.
Ooh, let's start there. I mean, a lot to unpack. Arizona was up 27-13. They blow the lead, and then a couple of key passes from Jackson down the field, and at the time, it felt like a controversial penalty. The league took a look at it. It was an unnecessary roughness penalty that was called that put Arizona in field goal range, allowed them to kick a 50-yarder to win the game. The unnecessary roughness penalty, Jack Brown actually whacks the Hands brother. I think it was it James with the catch?
I think it was James, yeah.
Whacks him in the head with his leg on the way down, put his full body on him. A good call there. And Arizona ends up winning the game and holding on anyway. Just your initial thoughts on that wild 33-30 victory for the Scorpions.
Yeah, and actually, Charleston came out swinging. They picked up where they left off against Mexico City and jumped out early in that game, 13-3. Arizona, of course, as you said, stormed back and took a big lead and looked like they were going to coast to the win. Legatron, Larry Barr, he had a chance to redeem himself from last week. If you remember, he had a chance to tie the ball game up with a late 47-yard field goal and hit the upright on that one. And he redeemed himself this week and came through and gave Arizona the victory.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, that's a great point, Mike, because it seems like so long ago it was week one, a distant memory,
yeah.
but that that was one heck of a grab, or one heck of a kick, I should say. And you touched on the 24 unanswered points by Arizona that put them up by 2 touchdowns. The play action deep ball game in this game was crazy. I mean, Buchanan Simons and the Hands brothers were just going back and forth, and then you mix in one-handed catches by Lyric Da Vinci and an amazing catch by Jay Taylor in coverage. He got smacked right at the goal line and scored the touchdown. I mean, this was every SFL fan's dream. And if there's a game you watch back from Saturday, it's probably that one.
Oh, yeah, this game had a little bit of everything. You couldn't ask for anything more out of this ball game. Huge plays from the Hands brothers, huge plays from Buchanan Simons. Just a great all-around game. We hated to see anybody lose this game.
Let's go back to the early afternoon action where Lone Star went on the road to take on Carolina, and it just never happened for Lone Star. We've seen this before. They were a little conservative. They, they ran the ball on some third downs, 3rd and 5+. They didn't look like they had a spark, and Carolina was able to do just enough mixing up, not hitting Logan Jack on 25 swings or whatever, right? They did a little bit of a mix-up, and they were just efficient. They were the more consistent team. They end up beating Lone Star today, 30-17. That was the shocker.
Yeah, that was actually a surprise. My biggest surprise today. Lone Star last week, if you remember last season, they were kind of a power running team and seemed like they were protecting the rookie quarterback and just went about their business that way. But coming out last week, they seemed to want to be more diversified and stretch the field a little bit. And then it seemed like this week they went back to the conservative ground game. I couldn't figure out what they wanted to do today. Every time I expected them to kind of open it up a little bit, they stayed on the ground and they were behind a couple of scores and still running the ball. I couldn't figure out the Lone Star today. It was kind of, kind of left me questioning what they wanted to do today.
The offense kind of looked like they kind of reminded me of the Chiefs a little bit today, where you've got, Ace Fenech doing whatever he wants against Florida, and it was almost like they looked a little bored today. They just didn't play very inspired ball. Your take?
Yeah, like I said, I just couldn't get a grasp on it. I kept expecting them to, to flip the switch and really make this a game. Well, I guess they kind of did late, but it really didn't feel like they were in it. And Lone Star, they yeah, that's going to be a head scratcher for me all week to figure, see what they're going to do next week.
Just to clarify, I mean they're so bored because they're so dang talented. After they whooped up, put up 45 on Florida, it was almost like, oh, it's just going to come to us naturally this week on the road, and then it just didn't happen. Carolina took advantage. Saw a couple teams stay unbeaten today, and I say a couple because it was only two of them. The Los Angeles Lycans, under new ownership, 2-0. They go to Houston, beat the Hyenas' struggling offense 30-13. Then you got St. Louis, who did everything they could to try to throw that game away against Queen City. I can't count how many 40-plus yard drives that ended in an interception by Christian Brown. But again, St. Louis does just enough. They won by 4 last week. They won by 3 this week. L.A. has won two multiple score games, but maybe L.A. hasn't played as good a teams. St. Louis has played Portland, picked up a win today against Tulsa, and they've also played Queen City, who beat Fort Worth in week 1. So, Mike, of the unbeatens there, who's most impressive? You've gotten to see him now 2 weeks in a row.
Excuse me. Halfway through week 2, and a week and a half into the season, I'm more impressed with LA. I kind of looked at them a little bit that, just after today's game, and I said, you know what, man, they're the best of 3 different franchises all put together under the LA banner. Yeah. You look at the Carolina, and they took the, good portion of that team from over there. They took great players from Las Vegas, and then they took what was left over from Chicago. And I'm extremely impressed with what Los Angeles are doing coming out of the gate. I mean, Sully Richardson has had 2 great games. LZ Pryor, he didn't really get in the game plan last week. He had a big game today. 6 turnovers from the defense today. Just all around great performances both weeks of the season so far.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, LZ Pryor today was electric. He was so good. And it is interesting, right? You got Carolina, Vegas, Chicago, 3 teams that have never won a championship. Oh, let's all kind of come together, pool our resources, see what we can do. Now they're unbeaten. I'll give you a different perspective here on St. Louis. St. Louis, in the first half of that game against Portland, no touchdowns, 2 picks for Christian Brown. Brown threw a litany of interceptions today in some key spots. I mean, you just cannot make those turnovers. But they've won 2 games now, and their offense is not playing mistake-free football. What is this team going to be if they do play mistake-free football? And the fact that they've been able to kind of dig 2 victories out in the fourth quarter of both weeks is impressive in its own right. It's just going to be really interesting seeing how St. Louis does moving forward, because they're getting familiar with winning football games in the fourth quarter of this season, which is huge for that franchise.
Yeah, but the question is the defense really as good as they're showing, or is it the offenses that they've been going against not, doing enough? True. But I'll lean on the first and say, hey, they're playing great defense right now. They had interception from Freeman Peltier as well as Drew Really in that ball game. Didn't give Queen City a chance to get anything going, kind of like they did with Portland the week before. And the rookie, once again, made his mistakes, but you got to give Christian Brown credit. He keeps fighting and then pulls them out at the end. And and then give Amy Shalizzi credit with a big field goal to seal that win for them late.
Yeah, to your point, both Portland and Queen City have not cracked 30 in 4 combined games. Portland scored 30 against Tulsa, but they had a pick 6 to help their offense out. All right, game balls. Mike, where do you want to start today, Saturday, January 30th of action?
My first game ball is going to go to LZ Pryor. First game out of the shoot. LZ Pryor had a big game today. He was a big reason why LA got off to a great start in that game. First game ball, LZ Pryor.
All right, my first game ball, Bullet Boletsky for Florida. Storm get a 17-10 victory. 2 more touchdowns. He had one last week too. both on the ground. So Ron Cochran ends up still stuck at 199 passing touchdowns. Didn't get the milestone today, but Florida did pick up a huge win. They would have been 0-2, 0-1 in the division. But Bullitt, who we interviewed at halftime before the game of the earlier window, he stepped up for his team, got it done. So Bullitt Boletsky gets my first game ball.
Yeah, that was a big game from Bullitt. You know, I was happy for him. You know, unfortunately, it was against Jacksonville, but a great performance from Bullitt, and yeah, hats off to him.
All right, who you got, Mike? Who's next?
Oh, second game ball. We're gonna have to split this game ball, Cameron, or either give them two. Yeah, we got the Hans brothers are gonna get this second game ball. What a great performance by them. To understand that they went over 10,000 yards receiving as a brother tandem. You know, great performances from James. Donnie also had some big catches in this game. So second game ball goes to the Hans brothers.
My last game ball, let's go Shot Allen in Portland. 3 picks. Player of the game is a defender. That doesn't happen very often. 3 picks and a pick 6 on top of that. And the blocking on this pick 6 was phenomenal. I mean, 5, 6 different blocks get picked up. Portland gets the win 30-20, although the score was not that close in the end. Excuse me. So Portland, by the way, first road franchise win for Portland. They were 0-6 on the road last season. They get their first tonight. Shot Allen, 3 picks and a pick 6 to go along with it. Gets my second game ball. We are back tomorrow on FTF at 3:30 for a beautiful doubleheader. Mexico City, London, Sioux Falls, Baltimore, among others. And, I mean, the bonus games are even, I mean, they're just as good. Fort Worth, Louisiana, and Atlanta, Vancouver. It's going to be a fun day. Mike, last word on Saturday here in week 2.
I was just said overall, just great day. Like I said, a couple of great teams going to 2-0. The Arizona game, I can't say enough about that game. Great ball game between those two teams. Just looking forward to tomorrow. And how can they top today? I mean, you guys have something to top it with the action that we had today.
Got to get some rest because it's going to be another crazy day of SFL action. For Mike St. Green, I'm Cameron Irvine here back at SFL Studios, and we'll see you for tomorrow's action.